It's a mess. Matter of fact, Moab put it this way. He says, they will come and they will be like cows licking up our grass. There won't be nothing but dirt left when these guys come through. They will come and take away all of our supplies, all of our food, all of our everything. They take everything. You just don't, you know what, brother? Brother Landon, we feed usually we feed somewhere between 70 to 100 people on a Wednesday night, and sometimes a little more, but we feed quite a few people. But we don't feed no 1.5 million. You just don't go down to Walmart. Well, maybe you could go to this Walmart and feed. I don't know. But that's a lot of food. Amen? And when these folks roll into town, and they be hungry, and they need a place to sleep, there ain't going to be nothing left in your house. Y'all believe that? How many of y'all have like 1 or 2 teenagers that are spending that? Yeah, they can destroy lots, so can you imagine? But Israel comes and they camp right outside of Moab. Moab, the king of Moab, which is Balak, he gets like terrified. He's like, I've heard stories about Israel. I know what happens when they come. They take everything. They don't leave nothing in its wake. And because of a commandment, because these people are so evil that they're coming into the land of, God does. It is pretty bad. Let me tell you, they had a right to be afraid because God said, I want you to destroy everything. I don't want none of that old sinful life left. I don't want none of that. I don't want no idols. I don't want none of their stuff. You don't need any of their stuff. I'm going to give you a new land, a new home. Amen? Amen? That speaks to us. We don't need the things of this world. We need Jesus. He'll take care of the rest, okay? Put him first. But anyways, Moab, the king of Moab, I want to call him the king, but he's not Balak, the king of Moab. Balak, he calls his people, his leaders of his community. He says, listen, I want you to go to Balaam, and I want you to talk to Balaam, and I want you to, because listen, Balaam knows God. Him and God are like this, buddies. And whoever Balaam curses, matter of fact, the king says, he said, whoever Balaam curses is cursed, and whoever Balaam blesses is blessed. So he says, I want you to go get him and offer him a bunch of money to come and curse the Israelites. So they go, and they go to talk to Balaam. And Balaam goes to God. He says, listen, I can't do anything unless I talk to the boss. Basically. He says, I got to get it from God. I'm going to go talk. Balaam says, I'm going to go talk to God. Whatever God says, that's what I'll do, okay? If God says I can do it, then I'm good. I'll take your money. But if God says no, I can't do anything. Because he's the one that actually does the cursing and the blessing. Amen? He goes to God, and God says, listen, these people are blessed by me. They are my people. So no, Balaam, you cannot curse them because I have already blessed them. So Balaam, being the smart man he was, he goes back to him and he says, sorry, I'm out. Now listen, there's a point to the story. Balaam says, God says no. How many of y'all moms and dads wish that you could just say that and that'd be the end of the story? Well, I got to tell you something. There is a Heavenly Father, and when He says no, He doesn't change. That means His answer doesn't change. Do you hear me? I'm talking about your life. I'm not just talking about Scripture. I'm talking about your life. When God closes the door, He's not going to, just because you climb in a window, don't you think that He'll make it right?
Amen.
I had a preacher tell me that one time, and I did it one time. He said, when God closes the door, don't go around and climb through the window. God closed the door on me buying a vehicle one time, Sister Gwendolyn, and I should have left it as that, but I went around and I got the financing from somewhere else and I got the vehicle. And about 2 months down the road, that became the hardest payment I ever made in my life. I never could come up with the money for it. It just seemed like I struggled. It was always behind. It's like, and the whole time I could just hear God saying, I told you. I told you. You know what? I could have got you a better vehicle for a cheaper payment if you'd have listened to me. As a matter of fact, I probably blessed you, but I want you to listen to me. When I shut the door, you leave it shut. Balaam was told no. He went back and he told those leaders, God said, no, I cannot curse them. They go back home and they tell Balak, King Balak, they say, Balaam said he can't. Well, take him some more money and send some fancier folks. That's what it says. He said he sent even some more higher up people in the community to go and talk him into it. Well, and they said, hey, he'll give you whatever you want. And all of a sudden, Sister Catherine, what God had said no to, Balaam's like, well, maybe I can convince God that, this is a good deal for God. How many of y'all ever done any of that? How many of y'all ever, God said no, and you knew it was no, and you knew you shouldn't do it, you tried to reconcile it in your mind and in your heart and with God? Let's discuss this again, God. Really? Surely you weren't talking about that apple, Adam and Eve. That one makes the best pies, I can tell. That looks like a really good apple. I'm pretty sure I said no. I'm pretty sure I said not to do it. Balaam, they come back to Balaam and they say, Balaam, we'll give you any amount of money. Here's got these fancy folks. They're backing it up. They're giving you their guarantee. You're going to be paid any amount of money. Just come and curse these folks. And what does Balaam do? Instead of Brother Victor, now this is the part I didn't get, is when you read the story, he goes to God again. And God doesn't get mad at him. He doesn't tell him no. He does tell him no, you cannot. He said, I tell you what. You just go over there to King Balak and you tell him my answer. And I read that and I was like, well, Balaam was just doing what he was told. No, Balaam was told no the first time. Balaam wanted to work it out somehow, some way. And so he went down there to the king. And we're going to pick up in chapter 22, verses 21 through 35 of Numbers. You guys are going to have to give me a second. I'm going to pull that up so that I can, because I don't have a screen. I'm used to having it. Might actually have to break down and not have technology. What? And me saying that and I'm reading it off my phone. Yeah. In my defense, my phone has got a lot bigger letters, so it's easier for me to read. I said that and I'm looking past it. That's what they told me. So. Sister, I could have burnt you right then. I could have said, you probably know. I mean, nothing. But I did. Oh, or did I? I guess I did, didn't I? Verse 21, I'm going to begin reading. Balaam got up in the morning, saddled his donkey. Now this is because God told him to go ahead. Go on down to the king and you talk to him. Balaam got up in the morning, saddled his donkey, and went with the Moabites officials. But God was very angry when he went. And the angel of the Lord stood in the road to oppose him. Balaam was riding on his donkey, and his two servants were with him. When the donkey saw the angel of the Lord standing in the road with a drawn sword in his hand, it turned off the road into the field. Balaam beat it to get it back on the road. Then the angel of the Lord stood in a narrow path through a vineyard with walls on both sides. When the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, it pressed close to the wall, crushing Balaam's foot against it. So he beat the donkey again. Then the angel of the Lord moved on ahead and stood in a narrow place. He was like, okay, we're going to fix this donkey. I'm going to get in a spot that there's no turning around, there's no turning sideways, there's no nothing. Then the angel of the Lord moved on ahead, stood in a narrow place where there was no room to turn, either to the right nor to the left. When the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, it laid down under Balaam. And he was angry and beat it with his staff. Then the Lord opened the donkey's mouth. You young people hear that? The donkey starts talking. Then the Lord opened the donkey's mouth. So you that don't think you can teach or preach, he can make a donkey do it. I think he can use you. And it said to Balaam, what have I done to you to make you beat me these 3 times? Balaam answered, this always makes me laugh. Balaam starts having a conversation with a donkey. But anyways, Balaam answered the donkey, you have made a fool of me. If only I had a sword in my hand, I would kill you right now. The donkey said to Balaam, am I not your own donkey, which you have always ridden to this day? Have I been in the habit of doing this to you? Balaam says, no, that's not usually your character. Then the Lord opened Balaam's eyes, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the road with his sword drawn. So he bowed low and fell face down. He realized he had just stepped in a mess. An angel of the Lord is standing. Can you imagine it? I get this picture of a huge sword and a big guy. You know, I don't think angels are... They look, in my mind, they're pretty good shape. And he's standing there with that sword drawn, and he's like, just come on down here. I'll be your huckleberry. Just come on. You want to do it your way, Balaam? The Lord was going to let you. He sent me down here to cut your head off. The donkey, I wasn't even going to hurt him. Listen what it said. So he bowed low and fell to the face down. The angel of the Lord asked him, why have you beaten your donkey these 3 times? I have come to oppose you, because your path is reckless. I have come to oppose you, because your path is a reckless one before me. Balaam, God told you no. You went back and tried to argue with God and tried to get it your way. As far as I'm concerned, you chose this path. Are you listening to what God's trying to tell us this morning? So many of us think it's okay to keep going the way we want to go. Forget about what the preacher says on Sunday morning. Forget about what my heart says. Forget about what my spirit says. I want it. It says that every man is drawn away when he's drawn away of his own flesh, his own desires. That's where sin comes from. When you're drawn away of what you want. Balaam was like, man, I'll have the favor of the king. I'll have the favor of all these rich folks. Surely, God, there's a way to work this out. Surely we can make this work out to both of our benefits, God. He's willing to give me more money than I've ever even seen. You chose this reckless path. The donkey saw me and turned away from me these 3 times. If it had been and not turned away, I would have certainly have killed you by now. But I would have spared it. So the donkey wasn't even doing what was good for it. It was taking a beating. How many of y'all would have been like, he beat me twice? Go ahead and cut his head off. I'll just go ahead and just walk him on up there. I was going to spare, you listen to the angel, I was going to spare the donkey anyways. But here you are beating it because it's trying to help you. Brother Michael, I'm going to say something I've never said from the pulpit. I guess I've been a donkey many times. Because I've had people verbally beat me when I've tried to help them. It ain't me that's going the wrong way. I try to tell them the right way. I try to, I'll tell you something that's been coming over and over in my spirit here lately. A wise man will receive instruction. Wise people receive wise instruction. Somebody gives you something out of the Scriptures and you know in your heart that it's God. Why do we look for another way around? Amen. Why do we think that we can reason this out within ourselves? How many of y'all are guilty? I do it all the time. I know you've done it because I've done it. It is human nature. We try to reason it out with God and say, listen, I want to work. Surely God, there's a way. Surely there's a way that I can watch his football game instead of going to church. You know how much I love football? Yeah, I do. I know you love it more than me. Been there, done that. I've had things that I put before God, and he knew it, and he called me on it. Thank God, Sister Roma, he did call me on it. He didn't let me stay there. There was a time in my young walk with God where he even asked me about my children and my wife. He said, are you willing to lay them at the altar? And something in my spirit, Sister Catherine, I was scared because I was afraid he was going to take one of them. God, are you asking me this because one of them was going to die? Are you testing me? I didn't care what the answer was, Sister Sonia. I knew good and well that God was asking me, do you love me more than these? And I told him, he knew my heart. Lord, I love you more than them. Whatever you do, they're in your hands, I'm in your hands. It's up to you. So many times, God sits there and he tries. Listen, God was trying to help Balaam. Can I get something clear? Balak and the people of Moab, they're a non-issue. Did you hear me? They had chosen their path for years. Their fate, can I say it this way? Their fate was sealed. People that will want to curse God's people, it's a scary place to be. Amen. Can I tell you we live in that kind of world? I'd show you a dollar bill, but I just gave them away. If I had any kind of money, I'd show you. God we trust. I talked to Brother Oz yesterday. How many of y'all remember Brother Oz Baba? Yeah. Brother Oz. Yeah. Blesses my heart every time I talk to that man. He's such a great man of God. I want, with all my heart, with all my soul, I want to go see him. I want to meet his family. He was such a huge, for those that don't know, he was an electrician working in this area. One night he decided that he needed to come to the little Sonshine church over there. He fell in love with our church. He was so faithful. The whole time he was working on that big job over there, he was doing they were rewiring a big, he worked in the oil field, he was an oil field electrician. He was redoing the big station for BP, I think, at that time. But anyways, even he'd gotten a big check from something that had happened years before that. And I told him, I said, well, brother, you've got a church there in Brownsville. He said, listen, I don't go to Sonic's and pay, or I don't go to McDonald's and eat a burger and then go pay Sonic's for it. He said, I get fed in this church, I give my money to this church. And he gave us a big check at that time to help us out. We were doing the youth building at that time. I said all that to say this. Me and Brother Oz were talking yesterday, and I got to tell you, he told me, he said, brother, we've got to teach the children. He said, I'm so thankful that God is using you, because he said, we have to not teach them, we have to show them how to live for God. Amen. He said, did you know there's a new after-school program in big cities? Do you want to know what the new program is? I wish I had Sister Alicia. I wouldn't show his picture up there anyways. Let me get that. I want to make sure I got the name right. It is called, After School Satan. It is a recognized program happening across our country in our schools. After School Satan. After School Satan. Not something I'm making up. It's something they have them all over the country now. After School Satan is an after-school program project of the Satanic Temple, an American political activist religious organization based in Salem, Massachusetts, and is sponsored by Reason Alliance, Ltd. It is a non-profit organization that is having services after school for children. After School with Satan. Now, tell me we have time to play games in America. I've said that because I want you to see that what happened in the days of Balaam is still today. God says no to things, and people think that, hey, listen, surely we can, this makes sense. They have as much right. We live in a free country, right? They have as much right to worship Satan as we do to worship God. Not in my country. I'll guarantee you, men in World War II and World War I, they did not die so people could worship Satan. I'll guarantee you that. If you ask every one of them, they would have told you across the board. I've seen too many, I've met too many veterans. Not one of them would have given their life up for that kind of nonsense. They wanted freedom, but they wanted freedom to worship God. The one true God. Ask them. Look at our founding fathers. It had nothing to do with a false religion. Amen? They were tired of that. They come from that. But we as a nation, we as a people, we as individuals, we think that we can't believe this is happening in the world. Sister Sharice, would you have believed it if I told you that? You're thinking that's just there's no way. Well, I got to tell you what. God looks at us many times and said, there's just ain't no way. I have blessed Kenny. I have blessed Kenny. I have blessed. He's read my word. He's preached my word. He's taught my word. How can he go his own way? Because Kenny's dumber than a donkey sometimes. And if that shoe or horseshoe fits you, that's between you and God. Balaam, the angel talks to him and he says, listen, let me get back to where I was. And I would have spared it. Balaam said to the angel of the Lord, I have sinned. I did not realize you were standing in the road to oppose me. Now if you are displeased, I will go back. And the angel of the Lord said to Balaam, go with the men, but speak only what I tell you. This time, Balaam, when I tell you something, I don't care if they threaten to cut your head off. You tell them what I told you to tell them. Now, how many of y'all believe Balaam was a little more receptive to God now? How many of us have to get to that spot How come we do that to ourselves? How can we have to physically, spiritually, mentally get pushed all the way over the edge? Matter of fact, our families are falling apart, our lives are falling apart. Then we look up and go, I'm willing to listen to you now, Lord. But can I tell you, and I've got some good news for you, even at the brink of destruction, if you will raise your head up and say, God, I will listen now, He can change your circumstances. Balaam went with the folks. And in verse, matter of fact, I think I got it in verse, 37 and 38? If you read down there, I'm going to read 2 more verses if you don't mind. 37 and 38, listen to what he says. Balak said to Balaam, I did not send you an urgent summons. Because Balak is actually mad. He's like, hey, this was serious stuff. How come you took so long to get here, Balaam? Don't you know the Israelites are right out here? I sent my best people. Balak said to Balaam, I did not send you an urgent answer. Why didn't you come to see me? Am I really not able to reward you? This is the king talking to Balaam. Well, I have come here to you now, Balaam replied. But I can't say whatever I please. How many of y'all live your life like that? I can't say whatever I please. Can I help you with something? Get a hold of your tongue. I'm not a politician, but I'll say this. That's what I've had against our president for a long time. And I know this is recorded, so there it is, Trump. If you could hold your tongue still, I might have more respect for you. I cannot say whatever I want. Balaam told Balak that. Listen to what he says. I must speak only what God puts in my mouth. And the king says, I don't think you understand. I'm going to quit right here, but I want to show you something. King takes him and he says, I don't think you see the problem. He takes him over and he says, look at all these Israelites. He says, well, get an altar. He gets 7 altars. He sacrifices 7 bulls. He does this big sacrifice there. And he goes to God. And God comes back and says, and Balaam, you know what Balaam says? He blesses Israel. God bless them. God bless them. God bless them. And whoever, and he's like, I called you here to curse them, not bless them. He takes him to another spot. He looks at all this. And now let's do this again. They do the same thing. They sacrifice a bunch of stuff. They kill these bulls. He goes to God. God says, now remember, Balaam, you say exactly what I tell you to say. He goes back. Blessing, 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 blessing over Israel. What? He goes to another, believe it or not, he's that stupid. I think the donkey's in charge. He goes to another spot. Of course, the donkey, I think, was smarter than the king. There's some of us that way too. A donkey's smarter than us. Goes to the 3rd spot. God says, blessing, blessing, blessing. King pushes it again, and you know what happens? He says, all right, this is what's going to happen. He turns around and he says, God's going to bless Israel. And king, all of your people and everything you have, gone. Another king, I think is the Moabites. No, the Moabites are the ones we're talking about. Another one of the set of kings, I can't think of the name, I'd have to look it up. He curses them. He says, they're all gone. Another one says, you're going to have some come up with boats, and they're going to try to help. They're all going to be killed too. All 3 kingdoms, gone, off the face of the earth. You want to push the matter? You want to curse God's people? This is what he gets. Devil, you're going to be bound. You're going to be cast into a pit for all eternity. You wanted to know the outcome, devil? You keep messing with God's people. There it is. You got it in black and white. That's what we've got to become. The kind of people that bless. Blessings come out of our mouth, and if the devil pushes us, remind them of who he is. Remind them of what's happening to him. Amen? I want to tell you something. You're not going to get around the Word of God. I know we live in a world, Brother Michael, that they sit there and they say, grace, we live under grace, and we live under... Yes, we do. But thou shalt not is still written there too. Amen. Thou shalt not lie. No way around that, guys. No way around that. Thou shalt not steal. Sister Sonia, you want to know what's going on in this world? People don't listen to God. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. That doesn't mean football. It doesn't mean fishing. It doesn't mean anything. You'll have nobody ahead of him. Amen? I'm trying to help you this morning. So many of us, we don't have a donkey in our life to try to talk to us and say, listen, quit going this direction. Get off this road. This morning I'm trying to be that donkey for you. Get off the road you're on. Quit playing games with God. The other day I preached a message on Sunday night, I think it was. Quit playing games with God. This is not a game. This donkey was telling Balaam the same thing. Balaam, I've always been there for you. I've been your donkey. Why would you beat me? I'm trying to save your life. Sister Jessica, I was taught as a young Christian, be faithful to God, pray, read your word, give. Amen? There's some basic things that'll keep you strong in the Lord. Don't give up. If you forget everything else, keep doing those things. Keep doing those things. Keep doing those things. And in your weak moments, you know what? When I've been weak, Sister Jessica, when I was weak in the Lord, you know what I did? I got up and went to church. Because that's just what I do. Even when I didn't feel like it, even when I just went to church. And some reason, the times that I've been, the habits that I had, Brother Lynn, of praying to God and worship, doing those things, even when I didn't feel good. Look at me. Even when I got the flu, I still eat. Don't know why. Some people say, I'm just too sick to eat. I've never been that sick. I just eat. It's what I do. It's kind of a habit of mine. And even when I don't feel good, I'm still like, man, I'm kind of hungry. Even when I'm not hungry, I think, it's time to eat. Hey, physically it hasn't done me too good, but spiritually, I'm hungry. It's time to eat. Even when my spirit don't feel like it, Brother Man, it's time to go to church and eat. It's time to worship with my God. I know that I'll feel better when I leave. Quit going down the road you're going down, guys. Quit thinking you can just talk God out of this. Quit trying to convince yourself and convince others that it's okay to do what you want to do. Did you hear me? Quit trying to convince yourself and others that what you're doing is okay. If it does not line up with the Word of God, just let it go. And let God be in charge. I have tried to follow God, Sister Cherise. And I know that I've had to give up some things. But the joy of the Lord and the things that He has put, to tell you the truth, the things that I've let go of, hey, I could go drink with a few buddies and get drunk and act like an idiot with a couple of buddies. But I would rather go to church with 150 kids and have the time of my life. I would rather go with 100 of my brothers and sisters that I love. You guys, these adults in here that I consider brothers and sisters in the Lord, I would rather go to church with you than hang out with them any day. Because I got to tell you the truth, the minute something went wrong, those brothers and sisters, those people, those ones I call friends, they were out the door. My brothers and sisters in the Lord have my back. Amen? As we stand, we got to quit trying to do things what we want to do. Amen? Quit trying to push your way off on the Lord. It ain't going to work. It's not because He's hard. It's because, guess what? My kids used to tease me and say, Dad's always right. Dad thinks he's always right. Well, my Heavenly Father is always right. And if your way is not His way, then you're going to be wrong. That's pretty simple, isn't it? I know it's simple to say, Sister Susan, but so many of us fight with God. And we think, God, can't I just serve you this way? Can't I just do it this way? Can't I just, do I have to be that? Do I have to just read my word all? Do I have to pray all the time? Do I have to do this? No, you can go down the road and ride that donkey and I can just cut your head off later. No. I'll be honest with you, there's some things I went through that, Sister Loma, I wish you could just cut my head off. Some of the pain and hurt that I've caused my own self because I didn't listen to God. Amen? I know I got people out there that are saying amen in their heart. Guys, follow Jesus. If He tells you something either in His Word or in your spirit, listen to Him. I got on to Kate earlier and I said, hey, when you feel like something you're fixing to do is wrong, just don't do it. Guys, if you feel your spirit, God saying, don't do this or do this, just listen. Follow it. Be faithful to what God says. End of the story. Balaam did everything God asked him to do.